you ever find yourself wondering what books should your child be reading? Or maybe you have doubts about whatever book they've chosen from the library, whether it's too easy or too hard for them. That's what we're going to talk about today, is how to guide your child in choosing a book that is a good fit for them. So stick around. Hi, I'm Rebecca with the Parent Teacher Bridge, where you can find the ideas and resources you need to empower you to be your child's most influential teacher. And today I'm going to share with you a simple way that you can know whether the book your child is reading is actually too hard or too easy for them. Before we get started, be sure to click the like and subscribe button below so you can be notified each time I upload a new video for your child's education. Now, when I was a teacher in a school system, I had two extremes of children that I noticed when they would go to the library to check out their books. One was, you might have a child that never wanted a challenge and they always wanted to go for the easiest books, really almost as easy as a baby board book. They might be a fourth grader still checking out Green Eggs and Ham, for example. The other extreme was the type of child who would check out something thick and advanced, like Harry Potter book number 4, even though they were only in first or second grade. Now, if you have some super smart child out there that is in second grade and they're reading Harry Potter, great for you. That is not the norm. And so when I would see children coming back from the library with these huge books that I've heard the child read to me, and I knew that it was really too difficult for them, it was a little bit frustrating. Leave a comment below about your child. Does your child usually go for something super easy that is not challenging them, or do they go for something just because it's thick and it's fun to carry around and they feel like it makes them look smart? So for the past 7 years, I have private tutored out of my home. Prior to that, I was a classroom teacher for 12 years. So I've had plenty of children read to me, and I've gone through plenty of experiences and different personalities of children, and I've spoken with many different parents. But one thing that I have noticed with the children who come to me for reading tutoring is they will bring a book. Maybe it's a book that they chose at library at school. Maybe it's a book that they bought at a book fair and they're excited about it. They want to read it. Maybe even they think that they really are reading it. But it doesn't take long within their very first hour meeting with me that I realize this book is a little bit too hard for them. I'm going to share with you today how I know that. What are some of the things that I ask them that leads me to know that book is a little bit too difficult for them? And it's really not surprising that the child doesn't want to read because they're reading a book that is at their frustration level. So, of course, it's a difficult process for them and they don't want to have to go and sit and read because it's so difficult for them. Now, I have done a video on how you can get an idea of your child's reading level. So I will leave a link for that so you can watch that for a little bit more detailed information. But for now, I'm going to share with you something called the 5-finger rule. This is nothing new to elementary school teachers. It's been out there for years. You might Google things like 5-finger rule, just right books, or even good fit books. And if you would like a download for your child, you can go to theparentteacherBridge.com/goodfitbook. And you can get a free download of this if you would like something to print off with your child, maybe give them a chance to color it, and so on. So here is how it works. You are going to take whatever book you're trying to test is a good fit for your child, and you can open it up to just about any page of the book and have your child start reading. Each time they have difficulty on a word, you hold one finger up, and you are going to use this system and count how many fingers do you have holding up when they're done with that page. So in essence, it's just letting you know how many words did they struggle with per page of the book. So if it's a chapter book and they're just reading one page of that chapter and they've already struggled with 8 words, you know that is far too difficult. So let's take a look at this and I'm going to show you how it works. Hi parents, is your child struggling to read or even hates to read and nothing you have tried has worked? Get my free guide, 5 quick tips to immediately help your struggling reader. I'm going to show you the simple tricks that I've used for years to successfully improve children's reading and their confidence in reading. It's easy, it's simple, and it's free. Just go to theparentteacherbridge.com/reading help. You can find that link in the description below. If at the end of the book your child is holding up 0 fingers or only 1 finger, it's quite easy for your child. It doesn't mean they can't read that book for fun. It doesn't mean they can't read that book to practice their fluency or how smoothly they read. They might need to, or if they're a child struggling with comprehension, they might need to do that. But it's not going to really help them much in learning to break down more difficult words, increasing their vocabulary, and so on. What about if they're holding up 2 or 3 fingers at the end of the book? That would be what we call a just right book for them, or a good fit book for them. It gives them a little bit of struggle. The next time they read that book and they come to that word, they're going to remember that word a little bit better, or at least remember how they broke it down into the sounds and blended it together. But as you get into more fingers being held up, let's see. If you have 4 fingers held up, it doesn't mean it's an absolute no. It might be a good fit book. Give it a try. You're going to see a little bit later if it is a little difficult, if they're not understanding it, and so on. And if they're holding up 5 or more fingers at the end of that page, 5 or more words that they struggled with at the end of that page, that book is a little bit challenging for them right now. Of course, you don't want to burst your child's bubble. And you don't want to say, well, you can never read that book. That book is, you're never going to be at that point. That book is just way too hard for you. If you say anything, you might want to say, let's save this book for a little later. Or you might say, would you like mom or dad, or whoever, to buddy read that book with you? It might be something they could listen to on audiobook or that you read to them, because children can handle higher level books when someone else is reading the book for them, because they're not using all their brain power on how to break down words they see that they don't know. That way they can focus on the story and the comprehension and what is actually going on in the book. Now, something you need to understand about the just right books or the good fit book rule is that it's mainly basing it on how well your child can decode the words. Now, there are certain children out there that read beautifully, but they're not able to tell you anything back about the story. So keep that in mind. If your child doesn't really know what's going on in the story, they need to work on comprehension. And my rule of thumb for that is go back to an easier level book until you hit a spot where they can comprehend, and you have to work your way back toward comprehending. And there are some activities you can do with that also. I hope that this trick, this strategy has helped you. Some teachers teach this good fit book rule or this just right book rule to their children to use as they are choosing library books. But just remember, you're using a bit of trust on that too, because children don't always know when they struggle with a word. I've had children read with me who just substitute the word for something else. They don't even know that they're substituting it. So in that case, they did get the word incorrect, and they may not even know that they did. So I think it helps if you are using this as a system with your own child to gauge whether a book is a good fit for them to read independently right now. If it's not, if it's too hard, read with them or read to them. Don't totally burst their bubble on it. Or if they're getting a book that's too easy, allow them to have that, but also make sure they have practice reading something that is a little bit more of a good fit with 2 or 3 words per page that they have to work through and figure out. Now, if you would like a little bit more information on teaching your child some comprehension skills, I have a video on that. I'll leave that in the description. Also, don't forget to go to theparentteacherbridge.com/goodfitbook so you can get a free download of these rules, this 5-finger rule for choosing the good fit books. Don't forget, I also have 5 quick tips to immediately help your struggling reader. You can go to theparentteacherbridge.com/reading help. I'll leave that in the description also. And you can find the Parent Teacher Bridge on Facebook and Instagram. Remember, you are your child's most influential teacher.